So I'm going to recording. This is Mahesh Kumath once again, and today we are going to start the class number 5 for project management. So the project management is basically the software projects management is an essential part of the software engineering. So concerned with the activities involved in the ensuring that software is delivered on time and on schedule and accordance with the requirements of the organizations developing and procuring the software, right? Currently, what we are we are just talking about is a software project management sort of things. Suppose
Mhm.
you're just going to open a software management sort of company, and you have to you are the part of the project manager of the software project management, so that what's not sort of things you need to be take care, and how to go for the sort of things in the software projects. The what are the activities and deliverable on time and schedules and the requirement analysis. So these sort of things you need to be take care about it. Okay. Once you're going through the client meetings, right? So first of all, you need to write down the initial stage of the project management, the planning phase. Okay. How do you initiate the project? In the initiation phase, basically we require a project charters, right? In the project charters, the initial informations of your project. Okay. So we have number of templates available, right? So I will going to provide you once we are in a practical environment, how can we create the project charters, and how what are the informations required in the project charters, and how it looks like, and what sort of things. But that right now you can understand that project charters is basically the what informations about your project, right? Suppose you are just going to start a software project. So first of all, what are the activities involved? Okay. And software is delivered on time, and what is the start date and end time, and the schedule you just have to write down. Okay. What are the shifts is all about, and who's going to do it, when to do it, and the requirement of the authorized organizations developing and recording, recording the softwares. So these are the basic informations you need to be take care of once you're going to start the project. And a project management is needed to because of software development is always subject to budget and schedule constraints that are set by the organizations developing the softwares. So first of all, if you're just going for the software management sort of project, so first of all, the project, the budgeting and the schedule is the most important part of your, because if you're not able to deliver the software project to your clients, okay, they will not gonna um, they will just provide you so many issues like that, because they release on not release on time, and they will so much penalties will be handled by the organizations, and the project managers is the part of the same some sort of things. And the top management always
Mm.
asks you that what was the reason behind it, delivered on the time, and you have number of reasons, you can just say that. Of all in all, we can say that the budget is increased due to this. Okay. This is all about the software project management sort of thing. So this is the basic things that you need to understand. So the budget part, the schedule part, the schedule, the activities, time and requirements. So those things you need to be take care once you just in the initial stage of your project. We can say that the good and the bad and the ugly project. Okay. The good management cannot guarantee project success. Okay. Suppose you have a good project management team is there. Okay, but it does not guarantee that you can deliver the project on time, because there are several reasons for it. Okay, several this, suppose we can say that environmental reasons behind it. The supplier is what supplied the materials on the time. This is also depend on it. And what type of scope you have measured, it is also important there. Okay. So number of things are what very important once looking for the project. So it is we cannot say that if you're good management, then your project will be success, but the number of things are dependent to each other same time. And the bad project management usually results in the project failures. Software is delivered late, costs are more than originally estimated, and fails to meet its requirements. This is the ugly things. Okay. So the bad management, basically we can say that if you're not delivered or the project on the time, and due to this the cost is what more than originally estimated. So it's your failure of your project same time. So software management distinctions, so that the product is intangible and uniquely flexible, right? So we cannot see the project, the software basically, right? We cannot, it's intangible sort of assets for the company. The software development process is not standardized. Okay, the large software projects are often one-off projects. So we can say that if you are in the part of the software project management sort of thing, so these are the some intangible flexible things and development processes, how it's going to do it. Because what, software development, we are following some models. Okay, it's like waterfall models, or some different sort of product, same time, some sort of things. So you have to understand the what the software is all about. What are the models, how the release date, how version controlling, how the change in the project, the change control sort of thing, change management sort of thing. So there are a number of things you need to be take care of. That is why we require a experienced project manager in the company, so that they can handle the situation and the circumstances more if sufficient and efficient way uh, to the project basically. So the role of the project manager. So software managers are responsible for planning and managing project development. So the estimation of the project effort and time and cost. So sometimes what, once you are in the project management and you have to go to the client side, and what, you have to estimate the things, that the project effort and how much time it will take to deliver the project, and what were the cost is involved. Okay, so these are the sort of plannings you need to be, what the basic things you need to be understand. Yes, and what is the cost, what is the time, and how effort required. Okay, so if you have done the same sort of project in the past, that is why you have to, a good idea that we can, what, doing the things. That is the only reason that learning from the experience is always be count into the project management, right? And the planning part is scheduling deliverables, uh, review points, and allocation of staff to activities. Okay, so planning part is most important for, what, before we going to, what, going for any activities of the project management, right? So the scheduling and deliverables, how can we schedule the things and deliverables, how it is going to work, and how can we allocation of the activities. Okay, suppose you got a software management project, and then there are a number of things, what, one resource is required for documentations, and the source required for, what the process maps he's going to do it. Another resource required for coding and development. Another resource required for security in parameters check into the coding and the coding. Another person required for implementation sort of things. Another person is required for, what, platform creation of the particular softwares to, what, work on it. Another person is, what, working on the quality and the rest sort of things. So number of resources are, what, to align same time. So the number of activities need to be performed from the different what, a resource same time, right? So that is what the what was the cost, how much time it will take, and how much effort required for your resources. And once it is, what, you have to go answer, then you can to, what, work breakdown structures, you can follow it, and you can what, provide activities to different resources, and then you can controlling and monitoring sort of things, you can do it. Okay, and replanning is de-estimating and rescheduling in the light of unfolding circumstances like risk and quality assurance results. Okay, so sometimes, we once the project is going on, you need to be the scheduling and the estimating, the planning, some sort of thing, just because of some of the risk are basically comes once you're working in an environment, right? And the quality is assurance is, what, depend on the result, what type of results you're going to provide in your project. So that sort of things you can go for the replanning again once you get the results. Organization establishing a division of labor which is able to make the most effective use of valuable skills and maximizes productivity potentials in the context of characteristics, risk factors for the particular organization. So it is most important for any organizations to use the most effective use of available skills and maximize productivity potentials, right? That is why the human is one of the most important resource. And how can we, what, increase the skills of the, yeah, the human resource. So organization is always thinking that we can gonna deliver some trainings, we can gonna provide some certifications programs, and they will gonna provide some, what, uh, you know what training materials to the different sources, and they will hire this sort of you know what is uh, the persons in the project, so that subject matter experts, so that they want to work on the specific you know what work environment. So that is very important for any organizations to getting the right resource, the right time, and the right deliverables, and the skills and requirement of any different resources at the same time. Quality assurance is planning and carrying out actions to ensure that the software product meets the required quality targets, right? So the quality assurance is one of the the, the knowledge areas we're just talking about. Okay, so we required a quality assurance, so we that is why we will gonna go for total quality management and Six Sigma, Five Sigma, Four Sigma. So we can say that if we are going for some Six Sigma sort of thing, so out of 1 million, we have four or five others into the in the production environment. So with that, then we can go for the Six Sigma sort of things. Quality assurance is most important for any project same time. Project planning. So the first things we already discussed about the project planning. So probably the most time consuming project management activity, right? So the planning, because all your thoughts, all your informations, or everything is depend on your planning, what type of planning you have made. That is why it's very time consuming sort of things. And it's most of the time has been consuming from your top management and your middle management sort of things, and they will just think that what needs to be done, how can we work on it, and the number of things you need to be thinking. So it's a brainstorming sessions, you can do it for the planning sort of thing. So the number of activities we can go for it, and the continuous activity from the initial concept through the system delivery. So planning is basically, you can say that it's continuous activity. You can plan for once the step one is complete, then go for second step, third step, fourth step. So what you can do it into the planning phase, we can create some process charts, mind maps, and different tools and techniques are basically used into the planning of the project. Plans must be regularly revised as a new information becomes available. So we can say that the regular we can say that the if the planning plans are revised, new information becomes available. So suppose you had a plan that we can do these sort of things, and as per circumstances as changes, okay, environment and the conditions will be changed. So you have to revise your plan again, and then your next plan B will be work at the same time, right? The various different types of plan may be developed to support the main software project plan that is concerned with the schedule and budget. So you can deliver different sort of plans, but the matter of fact that what is the best for the business, one thing is this, and second thing is your plan is what is concerned with the schedule, what is done with the start time, end time is there, and what is the budget of this particular project. So whatever the plan you can suggest, it is we have to go for what scheduling and the budget as the concept, we will take care of it. Okay, so types of project plan is quality plan, validation plan, configuration management plan, maintenance plan, and staff development plan. So we have some different sort of plans you can create it, but it is depend on the what type of business you are doing it. Suppose you are in the IT business, or you're in a production or manufacturing or healthcare, different domains are available. So we have to make a plan for different some things like, suppose you are in the manufacturing, so quality plan, what it works for you, and validations describe the approach, it's also the schedule used for system validation. So it is for IT sort of things. Okay, configuration management plan is basically for the IT, we can say that, and maintenance plan, that if you are manufacturing or in production, so we require some maintenance plans of your products. And the staff development plan is also if you are in the HR, human resource management. Okay, so you got some staff development plan. So we can gonna create some different sort of plans, and the thing is required is basically the time consuming things is there, and continuous activity we need to go for it, and whether your plan is what is a budget of the is it as per the budget, is and the second thing is as per the schedules, you can create your plans. So, scoping the problem, okay. So, what is this objectives is expressed in general terms and in the language applications domain. Scope defines the system boundary, explaining that will be included in the system and what will not be included, and identify the customers and the in-system environment necessary tools, potential the use, etc. So ask the customers who is the end user, often not the customers who has the authority to accept the finished product. What problem are we addressing? What documentation will be required? When do we when do they believe they need to do the product? Where is the work to be done? Why do we need to the product, and how will the product will be developed and acquired? So these sort of what identify the what customer needs and everything. So you have to ask the questions to yourself that is just beneficial, what type of documentations and what type of work we have to done, what type of resources we required, what type of skills we need, and these sort of all sort of things you need to be take care before we going to in the project, okay. And the scope, the boundary needs to be set, because without what you have, what the scope of the work you have to define first of all, and the objective is basically in general terms in the language applications domain, what type of domain you are and what's your objective. You have to and what different domains have different objectives, okay, different vision and mission. So your project, what delivered the best business needs is basically right. So objectives of the business and the vision of the company will be what is accomplished or not accomplished. That is the important case in your project management things. So plan the things as per the things I've mentioned. Other management activities are measurement framework, software metrics, quality assurance plans. So we can create different sort of plans. Okay. So suppose any person is coming from the different domains. Okay. So the production have different sort of plans you need to create, and the quality management you have to different sort of plans will be done. Okay. So this is the different project charters and different scope of the work, and every time you need to be updated all the informations in the market. So you can just what identify what things are what working in the project. Okay. Resource management identify the quantities needed resources and it describes how this is allocated throughout the project. Okay. And how the resources are communicated, what are the risks available, and you can do for the feasibility study also, explores alternative solutions. Okay. So activity organizations and milestones activities, what the activities they need to be done in a project should be organized to produce tangible outputs of management to judge progress. Milestones, what type of milestones you have achieved, what type of deliverables you can done it. So this is the things we're just talking about. This is sort of with the process charts you can create it. You can create some mind maps. You can work on the MS project. Okay. In the MS project you have some milestone available, what are the activities, what are the processes, who's going to working, what are the what costs is involved. Each and everything will be into the same console, one portal. You will just see each and everything, right. So the project personnel is basically determine the project schedule and estimate the associated effort and cost. Okay, so how many people will be involved in the project, what tasks they will perform, what abilities and experience they must have so that they can do their job effectively. The assessment of the staff and tasks depends on the project size, staff expertise, and the staff experience. People have different work styles, preferred styles for interacting with the others. So as a project managers, what you have a challenge is any circumstances that what type of task is there and what type of experience, what the size of the project, and we required some subject matter expert things. Okay. And we have to done the things on the on the schedule start time and time is there, and whatever efforts need to be done, and what and as all sort of things, what is the cost involved. If the costs are higher than we expected, then it is not what as per the plan things that are going on. So you have to change the plan, or you have to get some approval from your board of directors, and then this sort of things you can do it in digital business activities. So the project scheduling. So again, the split project into the task and estimate resources and the dependency, what are the dependency of the task, and what dependent on the project managers in institutions and experience. So the experience, dependencies, and the time and the resources and what type of task is all about. So you have to split each and everything. Do we have to dependencies of different resources? Do we have some require some experience, exposure sort of things? Okay, and do we require some subject matter expert on a particular project? Okay, so that the matter of fact that if you are the part of the IT management system, okay, and the software management system, so software, what industry is, what changes each and every time. Okay, the version controlling and the versions have changed of your softwares, like Android applications. If you are built, then the Android versions are different changes all the time. Okay, the iOS version uh, is also changed every time. So you require a person who very well experienced, and there is no dependency on the particular before the source at the same time. Okay, and you have to allocate the tasks, and the resources are going to work same times. So these sort of things you need to be day to day scheduling the task. Okay, and in this slide we have just go for some problems, estimating the difficulty of the problems, and hence the cost of the developing institution is hard. Productivity is not proportional to the number of the people working on a task. Adding people to a large uh, late project makes it later, and because of communication overheads, the unexpected always happens. Always allow contingency in the planning. So that sort of things is they identify the activities, the software requirements, and identify activity dependencies, estimating the resource and activities, allocate people to activities, and create project charts. So this is what the fundamental task of scheduling the task though. So once you are working on the on MS Visio or Zoho and different tools and techniques, so you have as a project manager you have to think out of box all the time. Suppose if you have allocated one task, okay, one project, and then how do deliverables you can gonna provide on the time. So you have to I think always different things like task assignments, the timing, resources, dependencies, experience, all sort of things in your mind. What are the risks there? So how can I work efficiently with the resources so that these things can be done on time? So always the problems are coming again, but you have to provide a solution at the same time as a project manager. Tracking progress and control. The scheduling explores possible ways of allocating limited resources across tasks. Project scheduling involves sparing the total work involved in a project into separate activities and judging the time required to complete these activities. Okay, so the matter of fact that as a project manager, you need to be always be thinking that how can I work more efficient way, and what are the activities? How do I represent in front of the board of directors is also very important. So in this graphical notions, we can say that as tasks, the different tasks you have write it down, how the different resources and what and how much time it will take, and what are dependencies or different of the person. So we can create sort of chart into the Excel spreadsheet, and then you can represent same times. And what are the activities you need to perform? So these sort of tasks we can gonna create into the different tools like Lucy chart and different tools, and we can represent the things. Okay, and MS Visio is also the tools we can gonna use it into this. And this activity time plan, this is the MS project chart sort of chart, so you can create these sort of things. We will gonna work in different next few classes when we once we're going for the practical things. And the staff allocations is also the same thing. The different activities are there, the different uh, the sources name is there, and what the different date is there, and who's going what, and those sort of things you can what controlling and monitoring all sort of things, right? So I think you could just gonna understand. Is there any questions in this?
Not so far.
Okay, perfect. So this is about the basically we have studied about what planning, resources, allocations, and these sort of things. Then we have to go for some different topic right now. Is this risk management, right? This is some different things. So the project managers must engage in the risk management to understand and control the risk on their projects. So it is the risk management, the planning, resource allocation, activities, tasks, everything. Your mind should be know each and everything in very descriptive way, right? Suppose because the thing is important once you're going in the practical environment, right? Once you're going write down a project charters and different what documentation once you're going to create. Okay, So you require each and everything is what in your mind that yeah, this is happened, this things happen, this thing happened, how it's going to happen, and somebody will what your team is going to working on the activities of the documentations and what they will going to approve to you. They will come in front of you and they will just going to approve. So before you going to approve, you have to just check each and every documentations, the charters, each and every whatever the things we have discussed about in the processes. So if you are well aware about all those things, then you can easily say yeah, this need to be modifications required and this should be okay things. So the matter of fact that the concept and logic should be very clear once you're in the project management, right? The risk management is one of the topmost project managers are doing this because of every project have a different risks available. So we'll go ahead with the risk management, right? The project managers must engage in the risk management to understand the and control the risk of their project. So first of all, as a project manager, right, you need to assessment of the risk. What are the risks in a particular project? So it is required, we can say skills, and also it is required your past experience exposure on the particular project. That is why the most of the companies are hiring project managers who have the real vast experience, at least 5 to 10 years on the particular technologies which you are they are going to produce, or they will wanna hire a sort of project managers, right? So why they going to do it, just because of they understand they have learning from the experience sort of things, and you have skills, you have techniques, but uh, how do you deliver the things on the project? It's most important part of any project manager, right? So the risk management is if you assessing the risk at the what starting of your project on the initiation of the project, the first stage of the project, then your cost will be very less in the future, next few years, right? So that is most important. A risk is an unwanted event that has negative consequences. Risk impact the loss of associated with the event. Risk probability, the risk likelihood of the risk measured from zero, impossible to impossible to one certainty. This control the degree to which we can change the outcome. So these are the three terms you can what use it. The risk impact, the loss of associated with the event. Okay, suppose we have some different activities there, and different activities have the different risk impact on the particular activities. Okay, and the risk probability, the risk likelihood of the risk measured from 0 to 1. So how much risk is there? Okay, the probability you need to be think and you have to type into the documentation that if things happen, then how much loss we can into the organizations there, right? So the cost and the quality and the quantity sort of things you need to be take care. If this happen, then what needs to be done, the second step. And this control the degree to which we can change the outcome. So what type of precautions you is going to do it to control the risk? Okay, so those three terms we need to be take care once we going for any project. Risk management involves risk identifications and and the risk analysis and the risk planning and risk monitoring. So these are the what terms, the risk identifications. First of all, whatever the project you're going to do it, so first of all identify the risk is all about, right? Then you can go for documentations, and then you can just assessing the things, and then the planning the risk, and then monitoring the risk, whether it is risk is there. So the risk identification is concerned with the discovering possible risk in the project to the project. So what type of project have you ever done it till now? Have you ever done it, or suppose I will ask you that what are the risks available on the automobile companies? So what will be your answers right now?
Right. I never worked like in auto industry, but like just like the general information, I think the biggest risk will be like, I would say the cost, like, the cost, because the cost is ever changing in this particular market because of like, the United States of America, and then just to get the supplies on time has been like getting hard. That's why they have the plants to all over that world.
Okay, and what
Or the design change or the efficiency, like, what kind of energy they are going to be using, because they are making more um, most of the cars are on still like kind of like use the gas, but now the international market is going towards more of electric cars. So I would say like the energy saving this like this thing is another risk.
Okay, okay. And what about the some different domains? If you're talking about some healthcare risk, and if you're software management part, then uh, what type of risk? What's your understanding about particular domain?
What domain you're talking about?
Healthcare domains, or we can say that we can healthcare and also the production and manufacturing sort of things. The different projects, the IT management, uh, software management sort of projects. If you got them.
So for health industry, I can say like that domain like in general, like like having like this new disease, and then is always going to be risk that there's going to be new virus or new bacteria, um, like coming in, a new string of bacteria in that computer science. I don't know because I honestly have zero background with the computer sciences. Like I don't know what kind of risk they can have. When it comes to financial domain, I can say like there's like the change of the market, and like the variance of like different funds, and how the market is going to be behaving on that particular day is always going to be a big risk, because market can be affected because of any political situation, any environmental situation. They are just not predictable.
Yes, you're right. Yes, yes. So matter of fact that if you are a project manager, right? So you need to be take care all the informations about some different things, right? Whatever things are going on to the current environment, right? So
Yeah.
because the any situations come in front of you, then you need to be think like, yeah, what happened? This is not my domain, but yeah, but it will be affecting in my project, right? Some of the environmental conditions, okay, and some feasibility study you can do it from different sort of things, and many more things, right? We'll
Mhm.
study all things later on. So the risk identifications concerned with the
So for like the risk management for like this, like the you're talk right now we're talking about the risk management of from a programmer, like the like from the computer science. So what kind of risk they can have?
yes, different it's just important is thing is in the computer science right now the cyber security comes to the market, right? The phishing attacks and the malware attacks, the DDoS attacks, the number
Mm-hmm.
of attacks on the different on the in the computer science, right? So
Mm-hmm.
network security, cloud security, and we can say application security, and a
Mm-hmm.
number of things are available, right? So in the computer science. So as a cybersecurity, as the forensic investigations, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we need to like if it is cyber crimes happens, then how can we go for the forensic investigations of the particular crime? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we required the hacker is coming from outside to inside, then what things he actually did it, and is there any logs
Mm-hmm.
available? Is there any the the footprinting we can say is there available? The fingerprint is we can check it out. We have to check some logs of the particular things, and uh, if
Mm-hmm.
if the risk is there, then we can get the trademarks and the intellectual property and the logos and different sort of the impact on the business. We need to analyze all the sort of all the time in the computer science, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
the impact is very high, then how can we mitigate the risk? Okay, how can we transfer the risk? So that sort of things, and we have to prioritize the risk. Is urgent risk, as medium sort of risk, and the risk is basically in the computer science is all about the information security that is required. So informations in any in computer science companies, right? Information is the more top secret assets for the company, right? So the important thing is there that the hackers and the outside the cybercrime criminals are going to hack your systems, and they will hide your informations or encrypted of your informations, and if you require information, then you have to pay some bitcoins to them, and then they will share the informations to you again. So these sort of
Mm-hmm.
things is is coming into the what cyber in computer science. So you would be ready for it, because in this computer science we are going some penetration testing sort of things. So what are the vulnerabilities? Okay, what are the attacks is there? So we have to find out each and everything in this scenarios. Okay, so we have different steps available. Okay, in the computer science. So every project managers need to think that if it is happen, then how much loss we can accept it. Okay, and what are the top informations is there of the company? What are the what public sort of informations we need to go for it? That is the only
Mm-hmm.
reasons. That is the only reasons in Facebook. All informations will be leaked just because of what public informations and some of the private information of the customers are leaked. That is why the Facebook has to what penalize same sort of things, and the CEO will be the count same time, right? So suppose you are project managers here, and as in your team, okay, there's some of the information going to leaked, okay. So you know what the media is not gonna take to you, because they will know that who is the CEO, who are the board directors of the company. They will catch them same time.
Mm-hmm.
It happens that you lost your job, but the thing is there same times you are not responsible for those sort of things. Okay, so that is why
Mm-hmm.
in most of the situations the information security is more important for in the current environment right now. And a number of things are working in the cyber security things. That is why the forensic investigation sort of things is what working. And this is the admissible in the court or not admissible in the court evidence sort of things. So this is things we know going to work in the cybersecurity part basically,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So we're just talking about some risk identification. So concerned with the discovering possible risk to the project. So whatever the project would be, right? Because it is not because uh, we can understand that you have not done the project before. So it's your first project, and the matter of fact that board of directors and each everybody you can just go for brainstorming sessions, one-to-one meeting with different resources, and then you can just find out what are the risks in particular in the activity. Okay, suppose you are gonna hire a wrong person. Okay, from the human resource management team is gonna want to hire recruiting some uh, a person who is already a criminal record. Okay, so if these things happen in front of you as a project manager in your environment, so what will be your actions the same time, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
plan A, plan B things need to be take care, the identifications different way, and you can analyze the things. Then the risk analysis, the consider each identified risk and makes a judgment about the possibility and scenarios of it, seriousness of it. Okay, so if the analyzing phase, we have to go for some different analysis techniques and tools we can going to what to use for the risk management identifications and analysis. The risk planning considers each identified risk and identifies strategies to manage the risks. Okay, so we have to identify the risk and identify the risk strategies. What the strategies we wanna use it. And risk monitoring involves the regularly assessing each identified risk to decide whether that risk is becoming more or less probable, and whether the effect of the risk have changed. Okay, so, Zara, what we can do, suppose you in your past experience, you have some exposure on the finance side or
Mm-hmm.
automobile sides. Okay, so find out the risk. Okay, we were just talking about in the next class, and what you
Mm-hmm.
risk analyze, and how do you measure the risk, and what is the impact of the particular risk is happen. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
so I would like to understand that how you're capable into the risk management sort of things.
Okay.
Okay, so you can use this particular slide, and these are the some identification, analysis, planning, and monitoring, and try to make a documentations that in the automobile industries, what are this is valuable right now in the current environment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Sure.
and we have some software risks there. So for personal shortlist and unrealistic schedules and budget, developing the wrong software functions. So these are the what top 10 risks there in the 991 and in the 2004. So different risks involved every time. So that is why I'm asking you that create a automobile. So whatever the domains you like it, okay, just going to create what are the risks is there, and how can we mitigate all those risks. So risk management process, basically what you can do it, first of all, risk identification. So list of potential risk. Okay, so write down what are the risks available in the automobile company, right? Then the
Mm-hmm.
second phase is with risk analysis. So to write a risk list, so you can just write down the what are the risk analysis, what how do you find out is it the real risk or is it's not the risk sort of things. And the risk planning, how do you mitigate, how do you avoid avoidance of the risk, okay. And the contingency plan, how do you mitigate the risk. And then risk monitoring, how do you what risk assessment, how do you know what the different sources, what are tools and techniques going to use into the risk management, so that you can monitoring and controlling the risk is all the time, right? So the risk identifications, project, product, and business risk analysis, assessing likelihood of the consequences of these risks, and the planning is draws up plans to avoid or minimize the effects of the risk, and the monitors the risk throughout the project. So these are the framework four pillars you can just going to create and then try to demonstrate the yeah, this is a risk, this is there, this risk is there. So is this risk available? I have this is the analysis of the things, and this is the planning part. How can we mitigate? How can we contingency plan create to avoid the risk? And then how do you control the risk? So these sort of things you need to be create as a documentation, as also how do you are is how you are capable in the risk management things is the most important part. Okay, project organizations. So team members are organized in the ways that are enhance to the completion of the quality products. That the choice of the appropriate structure for your project depends on several things. These backgrounds and the work styles of the team members, the number of people on the team, then the management styles of the customers and developers, comparison of organizational structures, highly or loosely structured, high certainty or uncertainty, repetitions or new techniques or technology large projects, and examples of organizations, functional matrix, integrated product and development teams. So in the project organization is one of the key important features of any project management. Like suppose what type of team you have, what type of different um, staffs you have, what type of background of the work is there. Do we require some subject matter expert on the particular side? We require some management styles of customers and developers. So the decision making which is coming from top to low management, and if any work issues happen, then low to high level management, how it is your company organization is going to work, right? So we can say that the the governance body of your organizations, how it is taking the decisions, okay. And uh, what type of recommendation required, and how the board of directors is taking the decisions, what are the approval authorities there. Is there any changes into the particular production environment, what things need to be done at the same time, what is change management sort of things they're talking about, okay. So these sort of things organizations structures is all about. And you need to be uh, try to understand what the organization is all about, okay. Who's going to take decisions and what type of things decisions will be taken care of the times. So project organization functional chart is basically, so this is the project organizations, and then the requirement specifications, software design, testing and quality assurance, and the customer support. So that is why I'm just going to say that you have some project, you can do the automobile project, and then first of all write it down the project organizations, okay. So automobile project is there, then what are the requirement specifications into the automobiles companies, right? Where do you take the raw materials, what are the software requirement into the automobiles company, how do you make a testing of the different cars, and how the customer support gonna work at the same time. So these are the what for five six seven things you can just write it down, and then create a project, try to create a project, and demonstrate, yeah, these things happen, then I have plan, these things happen, then I have the plan, this happen, then I have some mitigation plan is there, okay. So that is the circumstances, the problem, and how it is going to working, what are your different resources, hierarchical organizations are going to work. So try to create the things, and think like a project manager is all about. It's very important there. Okay. Project organization matrix is basically, so department A, department B, department C. So if you have a what different departments available, so you can just write it down this sort of matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the project organizations IPDT is what system architecture, project manager, and subsystem A, subsystem B, project manager B. So these sort of what different plan of actions you can want to create, and then make it just really simple, but try to understand the things what we're going to demonstrate in front of the management, and what type of management is look like, right? So the reading activity chapter 8, software engineering management, software engineering work is there. Okay, so this is all about into the slide is ending, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what you can do here for your homework, we can say that. So try to create a project, whatever you like it, okay, and then you can just go for uh, what the project management scope, whatever
Mm-hmm.
scope is there, okay. Then what type of planning you will gonna do it, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then what type of risk into the particular project, okay, and how do you mitigate or sort of things you can do it, and what's your organization structure of your project, okay, who's going to report
Mm-hmm.
whom, what type of, is it a matrix sort of things, or it is a what functional chart is requirement, okay. So try to create a project, and then what uh, provide to me, then I will just check it out, and then I'll provide you these things have happened, this this is need to be done. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure. Yeah. So basically, you just want me to have like this kind of like exemplary, like a, a project, and kind of like go through like, what it is going to be like analysis, what is the scope, and what is the risk management and everything, right?
Yes, yes. You can create a spreadsheet, and in the spreadsheet, you have one column for planning, one column for first column of your initiating of your project. Okay, so initiating,
Mm-hmm.
what things required in an initiating project. Then you go
Mm-hmm.
for some planning, and then the planning we have different what is, processes there in the planning part, right? So
Okay.
the risk management, scope management, and the stakeholders management, everything is there. So just try to create the simple things that, if the scope management, this is the scope of the in the market, right? The risk management, what are the risks there, how can I mitigate the risk, and what are the what contingency plan, you can just write it down, okay. And human resource management, what type of functional chart or a matrix chart, what type of charts you required, and how do you require what resources, what whom going to report, and the decision making sort of things is there,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So and then we have to go for then you can create another column for what controlling and monitoring. So how do you once you all sort of planning is part is there, how do you control all sort of things in the risk management, in
Mm-hmm.
the scope management, each and everything, and how do you closing the project in the end date, right? So in the end date is just
Mm-hmm.
your schedule and your budget, how it is what work at the same time. So all sort of things you just write it down in a spreadsheet, and then I will just like, what
Sure.
what's your thoughts about the particular automobile company, right? So
Mm-hmm.
once I go through your project, and I have just if I require some modifications, I need to provide some information like, yeah, in the initiating stage we require some project charters, right? Then we require
Mm-hmm.
some business case, we required some what some
Mm-hmm.
documentation about the risk management plan, we require some risk register, how do you require risk registering the, what are the risks we have to register into the
Okay.
risk management side, right? So different
Okay.
different things I will tell you, go for some advanced things, so that you can all your thoughts which we have study in your 4 classes, right? Just try to
Mm-hmm.
all things into your spreadsheet, so that I can understand, yeah, Zara will understand these things, so these things clear, then we have to go for some different things. If these
Mm-hmm.
things clear, then we have to go for some different things. Once you create all sort of things on a spreadsheet, right, then we will gonna go for some MS Visio, right? And in the MS
Mm-hmm.
Visio, we have some everything is available there. Just
Okay.
I will let you know what things need to be. Go for it. Okay. That
Okay.
that very simple and very easy way you can easily understand the project management things are about. Then we go for
Okay.
some Jira, Confluence, Zoho, MS Visio, process charts, different chart is there. We can want to create each and everything, right? In the document once we go on the practical things. But
Okay.
right now is most important, what you have learned in the 47 processes, what you understand in the knowledge areas, what is project management, how do you analyze all sort of things as you
Mm-hmm.
think like a project manager, and then your thoughts and your minds it looks like a project manager, then everything you need to what work on the same. sort of platform, and then easy to work in the practical environment.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So thank you for your time. Okay. And
Okay. We will resume on Monday or Tuesday.
Monday, most probably Monday. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, then I will talk on Monday the same time.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your
Okay,
time. Bye.
thank
Take
you.
care.
Okay, bye.